Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome once again to another live stream. I'm very pleased to say in the virtual studio, I have to my right, Richard Pendry of the Risk Consultancy. Now, today, what is today's topic?
Today's topic is part of the second part of, the first part of the security risk management process, which is asset identification and establishing how critical those assets are to an organization.
All right, asset identification and criticality. So there are aspects to this which you're going to cover shortly, but would you just give me a basic overview?
Well, when we look at the security risk management process, the thing that we use to actually keep organizations safe, there's the process that we follow. So what I'm trying to do with Whiteboard Wednesday is bring topics of security and risk management to security professionals, people who are involved in risk management, so they can understand this process better. This is all free, obviously. If they were to go to one of the organizations I trade for or come to my organization and want training, it will cost hundreds, if not thousands. So this is excellent knowledge. 20 years of experience I have in training and risk management, and I'm giving that over to people who are interested. So basically what we're doing is following a process, and then we'll also be bringing in additional topics which I find interesting and which are beneficial to those who have an interest in security and risk management.
Oh, wow. But it seems to me that if you overlook some of this early on, you could potentially negate any protection you could provide if you don't know where your assets are.
Yeah, and the thing is, what today is, I'm going to emphasize how important it is to be able to communicate effectively, because it's difficult to manage some of these expectations. You have to understand fully what you're capable of doing, and otherwise you just get overwhelmed by people who expect things all the time. And we know we have limited resources, and so what I'm doing today is giving you the information to be able to manage the expectations of your management, your client, the people that you report to, and for them to understand what you are doing and what you're trying to do.
Wow. Okay. So pulling this all together would be normally quite an extensive course. So what is it that Whiteboard Wednesday is providing for people when they watch this now?
Okay, so yeah, you're quite right. When we look at BTEC level 4 courses, they can last 5 days. Now, I'm very conscious about people taking time off work. So what I'm doing with these courses, with these it's micro learning. Yeah, short bite-sized chunks, really good information within 10, 15, 20 minutes that you can watch when you're having your lunch. So I'm talking about concurrent activity, things that you can eat and drink, and you can actually fill your brain with relative information on this particular subject. Micro learning.
Wow. All right. Well, I believe we've got something for us.
Let me go into that. Right. So let's go into the introduction for today's Whiteboard Wednesday. Okay. Right. So this is the second episode. This and the rest of the series will give you a far better understanding on how security and risk management works. And in doing so, will give you the ability to communicate this newfound knowledge to your organization and its senior management in a way that they can understand. Today, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about assets, what they are, how to identify them, and what their criticality is, how important they are to your organization. I have to stress to you how important it is for a security manager to have the ability to be able to communicate effectively. When I was starting out in the industry 20 years ago now, I had a really good understanding of the subject matter. And so I should, as I was doing a degree in security and risk management at that time. However, what I lacked was the ability to be able to communicate effectively to my clients why I was suggesting a particular course of action.
Unfortunately, we are plagued by internet issues, and Richard will be back shortly.
If you're working as a consultant or indeed an internal security manager, having a good relationship I've got the t-shirts, but what I've found was that when things don't go to plan, you'll learn a lot more. I want the guys listening to this and the rest of the series not to make the same mistakes I did. Learn from my errors. I can assure you it is far less costly and it is far less painless. So what I've done with this series, with this one and the other episodes, is I've written them from the ground up. Okay. For some, it's going to be revision. I get that. Others, clarification. But overall, I'm hoping for you to walk away with a clearer understanding of what risk management is all about. I'm conscious of the fact that we're all very, very busy at the moment. So, as I mentioned, Whiteboard Wednesday is concurrent activity. It's bite-sized information. It goes out on a lunchtime every Wednesday. If you can't get to the live version, we'll be putting the video up on our YouTube channel, and I'll give you the link for that after. Micro learning, 20 years of experience boiled down into these small courses. And the other thing, Gareth, is that the people watching can get continued professional development points. Yeah. And I'll give you details on that at the end of today's session. There's also a Q&A. If you want questions answered, please put them in the comment box on LinkedIn or on the website, on the YouTube channel, and we'll have a look at them. So get yourself a brew or a packet of sandwiches or whatever you want to do. Put your headphones on, seize the opportunity. Today, it's all about assets. The most important managerial skill in your toolbox, in my opinion, is the ability to communicate effectively. To help you do your job, you need to be able to let your senior management, your client, those that you report to, understand what you're trying to achieve and why. Let's face it, your senior management expects you to protect everything. But in reality, you know that there is never enough time and the budget is always stretched further. So you need to be able to manage their expectations. To do this, I'm going to teach you a procedure that you can follow. It's my adaptation of the security risk management process. The first thing you need to do when you're trying to protect something is, of course, to clearly identify what is it you're trying to protect. What is the organizational asset? Now, to do this on your own will be very challenging, and I would add probably not accurate. So you need to involve other members of your organization. This is a group exercise, guys. The aim of the exercise is to identify the most important assets within your organization. Remember that an asset is defined as something of value to your organization or business. You have to understand as well that every organization is unique, and in doing so, it will have its own individual asset list. But to get you started, I'm going to give you a list of the most common headings. Little revision for you. There are two types of assets that we are concerned about within the field of security and risk management: tangible and intangible. So let's have a look at tangible assets, things that you can see, you can touch, they can be quantified, they can be measured. Physical property and infrastructure, equipment and machinery, technology and IT hardware, inventory and stock, financial assets, vehicles, security and safety, digital and data. Then we have intangible assets. The intangible refers to something that cannot be physically seen or touched, but still has value or significance, often used to describe assets that are abstract but still as important: intellectual property, brand and reputation, contracts and agreements, human capital and organizational knowledge, business process and competitive advantages, customer relationships, and market position. Reputation and brand is one thing that is often overlooked, and it is so important. Remember that these are headings. You will need to drill down to find the specific assets for your own organizations. Having listed your assets, the next step is to identify how important they are to your organization. Again, identifying the assets critically is going to be a group exercise. As the security manager, you're going to need help with this. You're not going to have all that information yourself. You need to involve other management. You need to work with them to identify how actually important the specific assets, individual assets are. I would suggest when you're ranking your assets, you use 3 headings as a metric, okay? And I use critical, important, and low assets or tertiary. Again, must stress this is a group exercise. You have to have input from senior management, and it's up to them how they rank the assets of importance. You are not assuming. Okay, so let's have a look at critical assets. These assets are indispensable to the organization. The failure and loss would immediately disrupt operations, cause significant financial loss, or pose a security threat. Important assets. These assets are valuable and contribute significantly to business operations, but their loss would not immediately cripple the business. However, prolonged disruption could lead to operational inefficiencies, increased costs, or reduced productivity. And finally, low-level assets. These assets enhance operations but do not affect business continuity. Their loss might be an inconvenience, might cause administrative burdens or minor delays, but operations can continue largely unaffected. When you have gone through your list of assets and you have now ranked them as to their criticality, it's a good idea then to add them to your asset register in order of priority on how they stand within the organization. Order of important. And that's it. You've identified the assets and you've categorized them. We're all ready now for the next step, which is threat identification, and that is going to be covered in another episode.
There we go. Wonderful.
And there we have it.
There
we have it. Yeah.
A fine breakdown. Even I understand a little bit more about what you're trying to achieve here.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's the base on which we're establishing everything. If you're trying to, you have limited resources. And knowing what is the most important thing in your organization allows you to prioritize. Yeah, we never have enough time, we never have enough money, and so you start at the top and you work your way down. So and as the series progresses, you'll see where these actual headings fit in, and I'm trying to establish a process for people, which I do over 5-day courses. And it's a recognized process that you will be able to use. CPD points, continued professional development points, they are available. There will be an email address in the comments. Email me, I'll send one off to you. If you're not a member of the Security Institute, have a look at it. Lots of advantages. If you do apply, then please mention me, but it is worthwhile. We're going to be uploading this, Gareth, to my YouTube channel. Again, we'll mention the we'll put the link in the bottom. In the comments below, and I'd love to hear from you. Yeah.
All right. Well, look, thank you
Brilliant.
once again, Richard. It's been an education, and to all of you out there watching, please do follow along. You'll find that they.
I'm working on the newsletter. The newsletter will be.
Well, the newsletter will be imminent, I think. But thank you all for watching, and until next week, take care of all of you. Keep reaching for the stars, and you'll hit the moon on the way. Until next time, thank you very much, and goodbye. Mate,